Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
Oh, it is a great day in Tampa Bay on so many levels. Ding dong. The Wicked Witch Sister City scheme is dead. Thank the Lord, as we always knew it would. Rest in peace at some point. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a huge playoff game. We're going to get into all that as we go through the JP Peterson Show, presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. You can find him at palermopa.com. We're going to get right to it. The man who's been the point man for negotiations for Hillsborough County with the Rays and the stadium issue is the great Ken Hagan, and he joins us right off the top. Ken, I imagine this is a good morning for you, as you can now focus fully on doing what we always should be doing, looking for a full-time stadium here in Tampa Bay. How are you?
I'm doing well. You're absolutely right. This is a great day for Tampa Bay, and I'm thrilled that we can now singularly focus on the plan that really should have been on the table the entire time, the full season proposal.
Ken, a big question for everybody is, why do you think Major League Baseball stepped in at this particular point and shut this thing down? Do you have any insight into that at all?
Unfortunately, I don't. I've been, thinking about it a lot myself. It was not unexpected, as you know. The timing is still a little bit. I'm really unclear about that. I personally felt it was going to be after the strike was over, when everything was getting back to normal. The owners would meet again, and I thought it would happen at that point. However, I think this is the best possible news, and now we can really start to move forward as quickly and expeditiously as possible. So I don't. What I do know is that Commissioner Manfred never blessed the proposal, never gave the thumbs up or approved it. Essentially, what he did was defer, which he's always done. He's given a tremendous amount of deference to the local owners for the various teams, and he blessed them to do their due diligence. And they've been doing it for a while. And I think at some point the executive committee just said, "Hey, we got bigger fish to fry, and let's get this over with and focus on reaching a solution here in Tampa and in Oakland, for that matter." I mean, those are the two areas that really need to be resolved.
Ken, I know we could go over the Sister City stuff for a long time, but while I've got you, we might as well look forward, right? This is what you're interested, what the fans are interested in. So let's look a little bit more forward to some other things. Although this next question it pertains to that, because I asked Stu Sternberg yesterday, why not just embrace Tampa Bay fully now and just completely pivot to the Ybor solution, which obviously you guys have been working on for a long time. They had a previous design. And I asked him, commit right now to paying half and getting it done. And he said he did that 3 years ago. And I was like, I don't think so. And he's always said there was no corporate support. I know differently. I was part of the Rays 100. At any point, did they offer to pay for half the stadium in the first proposal?
Not in the first proposal. If you go back to the original Ybor site, when we started having discussions with them, we were very upfront and transparent from the beginning, saying our goal, the best possible place that we were hoping to get to, was the 50-50 split. We couldn't promise it, but that was our goal. That we were going to do everything that we could to reach that point. Well, if you recall, it was, I think, June or July, the Rays put forward their design proposal.
Right.
And we had within about 3 months, we came up with a financial model for a 50-50 split. Now, admittedly, there were some loose ends, some T's that needed to be crossed, some I's needed to be dotted, but it was a legitimate proposal. At the end of the day, the Rays took their ball and went home.
Right.
There was a proposal for a 50-50, and they never agreed to that.
Right.
Now, that being said, on this latest go-around, when we had our best meeting ever, it would have been probably end of February 2020. At that time, their approach, their mindset, their attitude was dramatically different. They said they were going to be completely transparent. We were going to be at the table. They said for the first time that they knew they were going to have to pay at least half. They did say it at that point. So I want to be very clear about that.
Yep.
And unfortunately, I walked out of that meeting saying this is the best meeting we've ever had. We're going to be able to reach an agreement here, by the end of that year. And unfortunately, 2 weeks later, COVID hit and everything shut down. So originally, the answer is no. They did not commit to that. But the next go around in early 2020, they did say they realized they were going to have to pay at least half.
And that was, that wasn't really, I know you came on our show and talked about that, but that wasn't really publicized. And what I was asking him was back in 2018, but now he has an opportunity to do it again. And unfortunately, what I heard yesterday was a lot of, well, we're going to open it back up to all different types of options. We're going to look at St. Petersburg. Ken, I know, and the Rays know this, folks. And by the way, this is an absolute fact. The Rays know that Major League Baseball is not going to allow them to build a stadium in St. Petersburg. It's not going to happen just because of the demographics, and it's not the population center. So why, if he starts coming back with this, well, let's look all around and start pitting St. Petersburg against Tampa, Ken Welch, the new mayor over there, says, yeah, we're going to offer up a package. We want to keep the Rays. This is silly stuff, is it not? Tampa's the spot. This is where Major League Baseball wants it. The Rays know it. Why would they be vacillating back and forth just to create some type of negotiating pressure?
Well, I hope not. I mean, to Mr. Sternberg's credit, they haven't done that up to now. They haven't threatened to relocate. He hasn't threatened to sell, and he really hasn't pitted Tampa against St. Pete. So
correct.
I'm very hopeful that he continues down that path. Now, they do have a new mayor, Mayor Welch in St. Petersburg. He's a great guy. I know him well.
Yep.
And probably at least as a courtesy, I'm sure that they're gonna have discussions. We can't fully discard the development rights that the Rays have at the Tropicana Field site. So I'm sure that in any type of negotiations that plays a role. But at the end of the day, like you said, I don't believe for a second Major League Baseball is going to allow the Rays to remain in St. Pete. It's a failed business model. Their own numbers, their own demographics reflect that.
Yeah,
they know it. We know it. I mean, perhaps maybe if St. Pete, were willing to pay 100% for it, even then, I don't know if Major League Baseball will allow them to stay. But I think the reality is, again, without seeing any of our numbers yet, our studies that are ongoing, but hopefully will be complete here soon. My gut tells me, St. Pete, Pinellas County, at the end of the day, will likely be able to offer them a better financial package than we can. I will not be surprised by that.
Right.
But the reality is you're just going to be throwing good money after bad because, the numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
I mean, you more than double the population by moving it, within a 30-minute drive, by moving it to Ybor City, the additional business support. I mean, this goes all the way back to the ABC Coalition.
Right.
Many, many moons ago from Mayor Baker. So I'm hopeful that we don't go down that path, but time will tell.
Well, and to that end, Ken, we can restate that because a lot of people missed it. I mean, and now the population has changed, right? I mean, Hillsborough's growing by leaps and bounds. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of people moving here each and every day. I think by now there's at least 2 million people within a 30-minute. I believe the last estimates were like 1.6 10 years ago. So it got to be closer to almost 2 million people within a 30-minute drive, as opposed to what I believe is now 670,000 in Pinellas, right? I mean, it's almost triple. I
would have to believe so.
Yeah.
I mean, we are right at 1.5 million in Hillsborough County alone.
Mm-hmm.
The growth is significant. I mean, our planners tell us within the next 10, 12 years to expect another 400,000 or 500,000 in Hillsborough County alone.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about Tampa Bay, the entire region. So Tampa Bay, Hillsborough County is exploding from a population standpoint, from an economic standpoint, with corporate recruitment and companies wanting to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, our sports market is the best in the country. We're ranked the number one sports city in the country for 2021. this market's on fire. So
Yeah.
it's really difficult for me to believe that Major League Baseball would allow a professional team to pick up and leave a market that's exploding. That is also, by the way, the 11th largest TV market.
Yeah, and that's another thing we have to kind of nip this in the bud, because so many people are talking about, oh, now they're going to pivot to Nashville and Vegas. And I keep telling folks, Major League Baseball, and they've told you this, and it's evident, it's obvious, they're not going to leave this market. They have a lot of major national contracts, TV contracts that are tied to having this market in that package. They get huge TV ratings here. This affects other owners, not just Stu. They're not leaving this market. And my sense is they're telling Stu Sternberg, if they're offering you half, get the deal done, and let's get this stadium off, because they want to expand. If they let Stu go to Nashville or Vegas or all these other places, they get nothing. Whereas if they expand, they'll probably get a $2 billion expansion fee that all the owners will collect on. So this team is not leaving this market. They've got to find a solution here, and downtown Tampa, Ybor is the place to be. Am I wrong?
I completely agree.
Yeah.
And that's why I've said for quite a while now that if we're at the table with a credible full season proposal, and I'm first one to admit I haven't seen the numbers yet. We're doing a thorough, exhaustive fiscal impact analysis that hopefully will provide a number of creative options and will get us to that 50-50 split or real close to it. If we're at the table with a credible proposal, then I've always believed that Major League Baseball at that point would step in and say, hey, we need to get moving on this, and kind of force Mr. Sternberg's hand a little bit.
Yeah.
But up until now, and Commissioner Manfred has operated the way that he frankly told me years ago, that he allows the owners of the major league teams to kind of lead the charge, and he defers to them on what they believe is the best route to go, because obviously they're closest to the to the market, and but at some point it's put up or shut up.
Hey, Ken, Ken Hagan joining us here, Hillsborough County Commission, been the point man with the Rays negotiations for quite some time now, a long time. The site, have you guys settled on the K4 site? And is the previous design of the translucent roof, I've heard that this new site may not be big enough to handle that. Are we talking open air? Are we talking a roof? What type of numbers are you working with in terms of the cost of the stadium and the design of the stadium? Because that has to be part of the fiscal package, I'm imagining.
Sure. We are not married to the K4 site. However, most of our analysis has been focused on that, since that was the location the Rays chose, and the Rays have been pursuing land acquisition for that property and those properties right there. So most of our analysis have been focused on that, and it's been both for a split season and a full season proposal. Now again, we're scrapping the split season, and that'll be in the trash can. But I think under those models, what we're working toward is for the full season was some form of a roof. I don't believe it was the translucent, highly expensive roof that was on the initial design, but it was some form of a roof, and really trying to crunch the numbers with our owner's rep and with our consultants to really fine tune what would the overall cost be for the design, for the roof, land acquisition, infrastructure improvements, and those type of things. So really trying to refine the numbers from a cost perspective as well as from a revenue perspective on the realistic number that we can expect to generate revenue-wise from additional development that occurs from around there, from additional ticket sales, sponsorships, and naming rights, and those type of things. And I can tell you that our folks have been working on it for a while. It's an exhaustive exercise, because we want to get right. We want to get this right, and really trying to come up with a realistic, credible proposal that, and I always have to say that protects the taxpayers. Of course, that's paramount.
And Ken, in terms of the corporate support, back when the 2018 happened, these corporations were asked to pledge, and we still have the pledge documents from the Rays 100. There was $16 million annually on the table, which was way more than Stu was offering for the life of the stadium, which I think was $150 million. there's corporate support here. I mean, we just saw 39 people sign on for the half season scheme. They'll all sign on for the full season, obviously. I think there's tremendous corporate support in, and I think if you opened up the premium seating and luxury boxes and said first one in, get your 5-year deal, I think people would be lined up around all down 7th Avenue in Ybor to get these tickets. I think there'd be huge corporate support. Do you agree?
I do agree, and I believe the support is there. It will take a dedicated, focused effort to galvanize and to put all that together. And unfortunately, last time, the folks that were leading the charge were kind of doing it with one hand tied behind their back.
Exactly.
Because they were asked to pitch something without any conceptual design, without any facts, really until June or July of that year, knowing that the option with St. Pete expired at the end of the year. So we had limited information and the ability to really go out and to sell the concept and to get the support. All that being said, it didn't do a bad job, but with additional information and with the Rays more involved, which they have been this go around, whether you like the split season or not, to the credit, they were out pitching. They were meeting with anyone and everyone. So with that type of focused effort from the team working together, I'm 100% convinced that the corporate support is there and it will materialize.
Ken Hagan joining us here. I know you got to get going, Ken, so I'll wrap it up with this. Give me a timeline, what your expectations are for next steps. How do you think this is going to work? I know the Rays kind of said we need to take a step back and figure out what we're doing. I mean, behind the scenes, they've been very, as you said, very, very engaged in this process and focused on the K4 site. Is it your sense that once they regather that they will just say, thanks, St. Pete, we appreciate that, but this is where we're focused. We're going to dig in here and let's everybody support it and let's see what happens. What's your sense on what next steps are?
Well, we're hopeful that by the end of this quarter, by the end of March, that we'll have all of our studies and reports complete, and then we'll be in position to sit down in earnest and have a true discussion with the team. I imagine that, after yesterday's announcement, Mr. Sternberg and their officials will step back and regroup, if you will. I assume that there'll be some conversations with the sports authority and with our outside counsel. But I think once we have our information, then we'll be prepared to sit down and really have serious discussions on what's our capacity, what's our ability to partner with them. And so I would think by the end of March, if not a little bit sooner, that we'll be able to sit down again and really start to work quickly toward a solution. Again, if you go back to February of 2020, the goal was to have something by the end of the year. And so again, we're fast forwarding 2 years, but I see no reason why by the end of this year that we can't have an agreement in place, agreement in principle, on a full season proposal to keep the Rays here for generations to come.
That's awesome. And Ken, I'll just close with one simple question just to kind of boil it down, because I think a lot of, sometimes all this minutia gets people crazy. Is it your sense, and I think this always has been your sense, if in a sense, essentially, if the Rays pay half and the public pays half, we can get this done? If they can step up to that. And as you said, Stu has said he's willing to do that. So, and I know this is why you're so optimistic, but is that pretty much, I know it's simplistic, but is that pretty much a true statement?
I think it is, or very close to being a true statement. The devil's in the details.
Right.
So the reality is, as far as any type of contribution from our side, primarily it'll be from user fees and creative financial options that we can come with. Is the end of the day, is it 55-45, which I think is probably closer to what Atlanta's was, or is it 50-50? It could be 50 from the ballpark, but the team picks up infrastructure, one way or the other. So I think, within, a few percentage points here or there, I think you're absolutely correct.
As it should be. I mean, that's basically the way the Braves and Rangers did it. It's what's happening around baseball these days, and it's fair. and it's fair, and it's good for everybody. Hey, Ken, listen, I really appreciate you coming on and chatting with the fans, and you've been a great friend of the show. We really appreciate it. And more than that, I know you've taken a lot of slings and arrows other politically through this whole process, and you've never stopped. And just from a fan's perspective, from my personal perspective, so many people I know and the leaders, thank you so much for having the courage to do this from the very beginning. You were the first to say, we're going to look at this lease. We're going to look at it, see if we can get in there and do some stuff. We owe that to our taxpayers in Hillsborough County. We owe it to the Rays. That baseball in your blood, man. You grew up here playing baseball. You played at Florida, and I'm telling you, man, that's what's been driving this, and we really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Hey, JP, I cannot thank you enough for the kind words. It is very much appreciated, and I've always approached this from a fan's perspective.
I know,
and myself. And again, I also want to thank you for all the work you put in on this effort. And I know you've taken some arrows yourself, but it does take courage, whether it's on the political side, whether it's on the private sector side. And it's easy just to say yes and to go along with things, but to really dig deep and ask the hard questions and to do the due diligence while recognizing that we're both fans, and people that listen to your show, we're all fans, but we've got to do the right thing. We have to protect the taxpayers.
Mm-hmm.
And I do appreciate all of your work that you put into getting us to where we are today. It's a team effort.
Absolutely. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. We're all going to be there with the day we cut that ribbon, baby. And it's going to be the best thing ever for Tampa Bay. It really is.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You have a great weekend. Thanks,
you too.
buddy. Bye-bye.
Ken Hagan right there. All right, if you guys want to react to that interview at FanstreamJP, you can always hit us up on Twitter. By the way, we're on YouTube. Go to our YouTube page. We have you can comment there. Richie P is commenting. Lots of stuff going on Twitter as well, and we're going to get to all that. We're going to get to the Stu Sternberg press conference yesterday, my back and forth with Stu as well. We'll take a quick break here. We'll come back on the other side, and we'll have that. A lot of things that Stu said yesterday were, I think, somewhat controversial from my standpoint and illuminating as well. So we'll get to all that when we come back. Stay with us.
Who wants free mobile service? I do, and you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up.
JP here for my friend, attorney Christopher Palermo. If you are having issues with a claim on your homeowner's insurance from a sinkhole, storm damage, water intrusion, defective stucco, and construction defects, or any other issue, Christopher is your man. These big insurance companies didn't get rich paying out what you deserve. Chris founded his practice in 2009 with a passion to help all Floridians with disputes where they were forced to take on the powerful and needed a champion in their corner. Chris wants to make sure you will receive the most aggressive and compassionate representations. He has recovered millions in settlements on behalf of his clients facing defective stucco damage and other construction issues. So call Chris, mention the JP Show, and he will give you a free consultation. That's 813-221-5636, or go to PalermoPA.com. He's a fifth-generation Tampanian, graduate of Jesuit High School and the University of Florida, and he cares deeply about you and the community. That's 221-5636 or PalermoPA.com. Attention home buyers or refinance candidates. It is a great time to purchase or refinance. Home values are going through the roof right now. You've got so much equity, time to tap into that equity, get the cash, and make sure you're making the right financial decisions in your life. Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services in Tampa can help you out on all those fronts. I've known Fitz for over 30 years. He's done 3 of my mortgages. In fact, Scott has done over 3,000 loans in the Tampa Bay area for many of our coaches, athletes, from Bucks to Bulls. And he can save you big money. AMS is a wholesale broker. They will shop your loan to dozens of banks and let them compete for your business. Quick story, one listener had a done deal with a big national mortgage company, was promising a 2.75 interest rate. Well, when it came time to lock in, it was 3.25. Emailed Scott, got him the actual 2.75, saved him over $3,000 in first-year payments and $2,200 in lender's fees. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, scott@amstampa.com.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back. The JP Peterson Show, presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. Excuse me. Fighting for your rights and protecting your home and sinkhole, hurricane, roof damage, defective stucco, and construction defects. He will fight the builders and the big insurance companies, making sure you get what you deserve. You can call him at 813-221-5636 or reach him at palermopa.com for a free consultation. If you've had any issues, it's worth a free call. Just call him up. You may or may not have a case. You could have a case that's worth $100,000. You don't know until you call. 813-221-5636. And this is going to join us at 11:15. You know, he was the man behind the original ads that ran on Spectrum Sports TV and other places that you saw, calling out Sister City plan. I think he was very much responsible for the fan response and the negative fan response, and we kind of have coalesced around that campaign, and I don't think there's any question that Major League Baseball saw what we were doing. They saw that we were planning a rally. They saw that we were mobilizing the fan base against this Sister City idea. They saw the negativity that it was bringing to this fan base. And they're going to end it. I'm going to get into this right now because I think in Stu Sternberg's comment, there was a lot of mystery about, you know, why they did it and why Major League Baseball did it and put a stop to it. I think they know damn well why they did. They just don't want to admit it. And, you know, yesterday was, and I understand, look, they put a lot of work into it, and this is nothing personal against Stu or Brian Auld or Matt Silverman. I think the world of all, well, certainly of Matt and Brian. I think the world of them. I think they, you know, they are true Tampanians and have their roots here. As Brian said yesterday, both of them have, you know, their families have birthed 3 kids here. They are ingrained in this area and they love this area. You know, I'm not so sure that's Stu, but whatever. I don't even want to get into any personal attacks. He was nice enough to let me ask a question yesterday and man enough to let me ask a question yesterday. So I want to give them full kudos for that. They didn't have to. There were a lot of people waiting to ask questions and they gave a shot. I really appreciate the Rays for doing that. And I appreciate Stu for doing that. And then I think that's the reason they did is because we have become kind of the voice of the fans in this whole situation. And I think he wanted to give you fans a chance to ask the question. And I think I asked the question that all you fans would have asked. At least that's the reaction we've gotten on social media for sure. So I wanted to play that interaction right now and talk a little bit about what he said, why he said it, and we'll kind of move on from there.
JP Peterson.
The disdain in his voice.
Hey, Stu.
Thanks for all your. Just kidding. Sorry.
Just trying to give the voice to the fans, Stu. Listen, why not just take this opportunity to embrace Tampa Bay and the fans? I mean, you have said that Ybor City is a perfect site. You've said this is a viable market. The fans clearly want you here. It's Ken Hagan has told us that there's a lot of support for paying for half the stadium and you paying for half the stadium, just like the Rangers and Braves did. Why can't you just tell the community right now and move forward and embrace the community as a whole, bring everyone together and say, I'll pay for half, you pay for half. Our market is exploding. We have great momentum. It's just been named the best sports city in Tampa Bay.
In America.
Let's all get on this train together and move forward. Why not just make that move and declare now that you're not going to look at moving to another market and just go all in with us now?
Well, I did exactly what you're suggesting 3 years ago. And as I say, we do learn from our mistakes a little bit. It doesn't mean we can't change our approach. But let's, it didn't happen 50 years ago. It was 3 years ago. We tried that and it didn't come close, quite frankly. So perhaps this time through in our approach and the regions going through, and as you say, Ybor and Ken Hagan, it's a whole region. The people here in St. Petersburg have been and our fans and the leaders here, almost to a person, have been incredibly supportive throughout all of this. And they have other plans as well, I'm sure. So when the time comes, we'll hear everything out.
I know that back when they tried before, that maybe the financial package wasn't put together as well as you would like, but that seems to have changed now. The market has exploded even more. There was a lot of corporate support. They paid $16 million a year to raise 100 did. I know we were part of that. So I think there is corporate support. You just got 39 guys to sign on to the Sister City plan, who I know would all embrace a full season plan. Again, it seems like we could do a really good pivot here and move everybody together with all this corporate support that you've gotten and just make it happen. I don't understand
as you point out, if it's there, then it will happen. I would say that you might be a little off on your numbers and history of what happened last time, but we might agree to disagree on that. But I can tell you that if in fact the numbers are there, and if in fact all the corporate support is there, and that includes naming rights and sponsorships and everything else, and people want to see it, then there's no reason for us to even consider looking anywhere else. And again, I have never talked about looking anywhere else, and I think that in itself is something that the fans should take a lot of comfort in, because you look around the sport and other sports, as I said, it's happened everywhere before.
All right. There's a lot there. And I'm not here to bash Stu Sternberg on this, because I'm looking for solutions, and I do want to move this forward. But I do think, we have to correct the record here. And I think probably from the Rays perspective, and they may think that the numbers didn't come close. And just a little bit of a historical lesson here. Sorry, I'm just got this tickle in my throat. Back when the Rays were looking in Hillsborough County, they didn't settle on a site and a design until there was about 6 months left in the 3-year window. So that gave Hillsborough County, they finally had a number, 892. They finally had a design. Okay, now let's put a financial package together. That's not enough time. It's not nearly enough time. And Hillsborough County, admittedly, you heard him say it, did not have all their I's dotted, T's crossed. And because there was just so little time to get it done. But the basic framework was there. And as many of you know and have commented, Stu said he would give $150 million. That's not nearly half. It's just not. And the corporate support was there. We have the documents. And $16 million a year over the life of a 30 life of a stadium, how they mortgage these things out, is a lot more than $150 million. So, I think he's mischaracterizing how it went down. I think at that point they were already pivoting to some type of Montreal sister city approach, but they weren't. It wasn't something that they wanted to do. That they wanted to make the expenditure, and I think maybe they were just extending this out to get more leverage, to see what other options are. They were making plenty of money at Tropicana Field, and there was really no urgency for him to get a new stadium, and there really never had been. So I don't think he fully embraced it as maybe he would, what maybe he said. At least that wasn't the impression of anybody working in the Hillsborough County side of this. And of course, those things have changed, and we do need to look forward. Now, what was hopeful in that was that he did say that if the numbers are right, and hopefully that means that they'll pay half, and we already know that he's willing to do that, right? He's already said he would pay $350 for the split season plan. So we're close right there. And folks, if this is $1 billion project, the Rays pay $350, the local tax money or user fees, as Ken said, hotel taxes, etc., they pay $350, and you're at the $700. The naming rights can certainly get to $200-300 million. Again, the life of the stadium. The Braves just did a deal for $25 million a year with Truist Bank, or was it? I think it was a $250 million deal total. So the money is there. The money is there, especially for the naming rights and everything else. And we act like this is such a hard thing to do, folks. In the grand scheme of things, the Braves have done it, the Rangers have done it, the Nats have done it. People are building stadiums all over the place. It's not that hard. Hell, it looks like the A's have got their deal done. It's not that difficult to do. And we're not talking, nobody has to write a $350 million check. These are things that are paid for over time. And we're talking about, anywhere from, $17 to $25 million a year for each side. And certainly from the Rays side, they've got more than enough money to do that just in their new TV deal alone. to pay for a monthly mortgage like that. That's a no-brainer. The amount of extra revenue that they're going to make on these premium seats and luxury boxes, the Braves revenues went up $130 million in the first year. I mean, it's a no-brainer from Stu's side. I think the harder side is actually the Hillsborough side to get to those numbers, but the what we've seen in Cobb County and the Battery and what's going on in Arlington with the Rangers, these entertainment districts around him have been very successful revenue generators. So I think they are going to be able to get to those numbers on the Hillsborough County side as well in this public-private partnership. What bothers me most, though, is that Stu said, well, we have to look at St. Pete. It's a regional thing. We got to open it up to all different options. Now, that may be just his talk of the day because he was so disappointed in getting shot down by MB. But the bottom line is, as I said with Ken, there is no St. Pete option. Folks, and I saw it all over the television yesterday. People, I just don't understand why we keep giving credibility to things that really have no credibility. It's nice to talk about, but somebody needs to be the adult in the room and say, look, it doesn't work in St. Pete demographically. The location is awful. And yes, you might be able to put a great package together, but is that fiscally responsible? And again, Ken Welch, I think he's a great guy and a great mayor, and certainly it probably doesn't behoove him to come out and say, well, we're definitely not going to do something for the Rays right now. I mean, he's got to keep his options open. I get that politically, but it's going to come down to him saying, well, am I going to spend $1 billion in taxpayer money? Because the Rays aren't going to pay anything for a stadium in St. Pete. They're not. Because Major League Baseball doesn't want them to. And that Major League Baseball will not let them build a stadium there. That's just the truth, folks, because of the numbers. They never wanted it there in the first place. So if Ken wants to spend $1 billion of taxpayer money and take up a large part of that Trump site, a failed location, by the way, instead of getting $1 billion in revenue by building a convention center there, or retail or residential or whatever you want to do, where there's money coming into the tax base. So you're looking at a net $2 billion cost here if you build a stadium there. The money you're putting out and the money you're losing for getting in. If that's something that Ken thinks is fiscally responsible, which clearly he will not, then I mean they're just doing it. That's bad. That's bad policy. That's horrible policy. And as Ken said, that's just throwing good money after bad. So, I mean, if there's going to be this consternation, and this is something that I really want to, not that Stu ever listens to me, but clearly he listens to the show. Thanks for the snarky. Thanks for your support comment, this is fine. That's great. I love that he kind of broke the ice that way. It's fine. Doesn't bother me. Kind of respect it, actually. But if they're going to start saying, hey, we're looking at St. Pete now, that's just more smoke and mirrors, folks. And it's not being honest. He knows damn well MLB does not and won't allow them to build a stadium there. So if he starts, leading them along like he's done to a lot of people, down a road that he knows is not something that is an option, that's bad. That's bad faith. It's bad faith. And it's going to be a really bad sign. So watch out for that. Now, again, a little bit of, as Ken said, of course, show some respect to the people of St. Pete, but I don't know why he can't just come out and say, look, folks, we loved our time in St. Pete and it has birthed our team and it's fantastic. And we've had a great time here. We got things rolling, but now it's, like I used the analogy the other day, it's like a blossoming young bride, as you walk her down the aisle and you give her away to the next man that's going to, carry on the relationship through the coming generations in a better spot, in a place where you can grow. And it's a respectful thing that is done, and you respect your past and you move forward. And it shouldn't be pitting the two sides against each other to get a better deal. I want to make sure that doesn't happen. Doesn't need to happen. So let's all be, but somebody, an adult in the room needs to step up, whether it be Ken Welch or Stu Sternberg or somebody, and say, look, this all went great, but it's time to move on. And we all know why. It has to be in the middle of the market to be a success. So, Nick, you've not been able to jump in here. I know you have a lot of thoughts on this. I'm sorry I've been hogging the microphone today, but Definitely want to get you involved here. And we're going to play some of the Stu Sternberg comments here coming up in just a second. Your thoughts on what has transpired in the last 24 hours.
Yeah. First and foremost, I do want to say that, we come on here a lot and say that we try to be the voice of the fans. And I want everybody to know that is a real thing. Like, we are voice of the fans. And I think a lot of it comes down to, even though you're a media member, I'd say you become a fan yourself of this team.
Oh, absolutely.
And definitely this area. I'm born and raised in this city, which not a lot of people can say. So I have it ingrained in me. I went to games with the old Devil Rays when they were wearing that god-awful green. My room
Those socks.
When I was growing up, the true story, my room was 3 panels. I had it Devil Ray green, Bucks red, and Lightning blue.
Nice.
I had it all. Okay. So I'm fully ingrained in Tampa Bay sports. And I've always wanted to see how this could be done in Tampa Bay. And that's why we've talked about it during the World Series. We're talking about it when we're 2 days away from one of the biggest Bucks games that we're going to witness in the last 15, 20 years. Let's be real here.
There's passion.
There's a lot of passion. And, the area of Tampa, I've harped on it a lot. It is a baseball town. And I know a lot of people on the outside are going to say, well, how can you say that? Nobody goes. And frankly, there's not enough time to really just kill all those arguments that you have.
We know what the issues are.
We know what the issues are. Look at the catalog of players who have come through the high school ranks in this town, who are in the Hall of Fame, by the way, and more to come. Look at some of the great prep teams you have in this area. I mention all the time, we just built a Hall of Fame for baseball in this area. Al Lopez. There's a lot of fabric of baseball in this town. I feel it with friends that I have, with people in the community, and that's all we're doing here. And so none of this is like bad blood towards anybody.
We all want the same thing.
We all are on the same team. And that's the next thing we have to pivot to now. We killed this idea. I don't know why it took 2.5 years for them to get the answer we all knew was going to happen. And that's on the Rays, frankly. That's on Major League Baseball for allowing it to go this long. But we have to pivot. You have to mobilize. And I do feel it is at a time as well that we do, no matter what the issues are with St. Pete, I do want to see more fans in the stands.
I do too. Because
we feel it right now. We need to capitalize on the momentum.
I said this last night. We did a Twitter space, and our good friend Supervan Devin was like, "We got to fill the park, and we got to get harass the corporations and to buy more sponsorships and blah blah blah." I said, hold on a second. We still have the same issues with the location of the park. I think everything should be forward thinking. And I think, and then this is why we need this deal done. So we're pointing towards something concrete and we know what we're looking at, and we can get these corporations to say, yes, I'm in for, $20,000 in season tickets. I'm in for 3 premium tickets. I'm in for 2 luxury boxes at the new stadium. So we have something to really, really tangibly talk about. I think that's important. But I think this is important to Stu, and I would say, listen, if you were going to sit back and like the Godfather and say, hey, come kiss my ring, corporations, tell me how much money you're going to give me, fill thine horn with fruit and and herbs and wine, and come to my ballpark. No, you need to get out and mend the fences first and foremost after this split season plan. Even though we'll hear from him in a second how disappointed he was. You need to mend the fences with the fans. You need to market for the fans and come out and say, look, we're going to have those $10 nights every Tuesday. We're going to have $5 nights like every other team does, by the way. We're going to do this for you. We're going to do this for you. We're going to make it more accessible. We're going to do this. We're pivoting and really, putting the fans first. Excuse me. This is what, and be proactive in reaching out to the fans. If he just wants to sit back and say, show me the love, that ain't going to work. Am I wrong? I mean, that's a bad way to go about it.
No, because we've been doing that for the past 10, 15 years, and we know it's not going to work. You have to give some or to receive some.
Exactly. You got to earn that respect from the fans and prove to them that you're all in. They feel betrayed. As you feel betrayed by Major League Baseball, the fans feel betrayed by you, and you have to know that. You got to read the room. And this is the time where you can pivot and embrace the fans and said, we tried it. But now we know we got to concentrate on full season. Let's go.
And I said it yesterday, too, whenever the press conference wrapped up, because he made a comment, we'd love to get to 20th in attendance, and that would be just fine for us. 20th in attendance is about 20 to 22,000 a night.
It's not going to happen.
MLB. It's not going to happen. But I can promise I can promise you, I can basically guarantee it. You want to know how I know? Because I say the Lightning all the time.
Yeah.
Though, again, I'll say it again for everybody who hasn't heard us going on for this for the past few months. Don't kid yourself. There are more Rays fans in this market than there are Lightning fans. Half the people that go to Lightning games are not diehard hockey fans. They are casuals who want to have a good time out in Tampa Bay, and that is a premier event because of the way market and the experience when you're there. The Rays have not captured that casual fan. Not only will you capture some of it if you have a nice new ballpark with some great things, which you brought up in the spaces, even going to like grills and food and concessions, all these great things like the Lightning have, you're going to get the diehard fan base, which is right there. You're getting 20,000 a night plus every night easily.
Yeah. I don't think there's any question about that. And this is how do we know that? Just for demographics? First of all, when you have 3 times more people around the park, you're going to get a massive increase in people having access to the park. Plus, and you got to do it right, though. You got to do it well. You do, put a janky stadium. You got to have the right amenities. I think you're going to need a roof, of some climate control of some type, innovation. I'm all, I want to see grass. I want to have real grass on the field. That's important, I think, to a lot of people. We can do all this the right way. This is the exciting part about it. And I do believe look, folks, the Rays ratings are double what the Lightning's ratings are on television. I know that's because more Lightning fans actually go to the games, but they're double.
Regular season games in the summer had higher ratings than playoff games for the Lightning. That is facts.
And they are the number 1 show on cable. The Rays are in prime time almost every night they play. So the fans are out there. They just, first of all, they don't want to support Stu, which is why he needs to pivot and embrace the city. This is be a really good time to do it. And they need to market the team. They've got to market the team better. I was talking to a Lightning fan yesterday. His kid is growing up and is now playing high school hockey. He's one of those kids that was sitting in an elementary PE class when Matthew Garon or I'm trying to think, Cullimore, these guys that have been out into every school in Hillsborough and in Pinellas County and around the region, giving out hockey sticks. They've given out over 300,000 hockey sticks in the past 10 years. How many baseballs and baseball bats have the Rays gone into the schools and done these grassroots programs? They haven't done it. They've done a little bit of it, but not to the level that the Lightning have done it. The Rays have to truly partner with Tampa Bay, because Jeffrey Vinik and the Lightning have set the standard, but they've also given you a template that all you got to do is fill in the blanks, and you're going to be wildly successful in this this exploding market.
And it didn't used to be like that, by the way. I remember going to baseball camp, and I have many things signed by Scott Kazmir, BJ Upton. They came out to baseball camps around the Brandon area, the river. They went to the suburbs where a lot of your fans are and connected. They used to do those things.
Yeah.
I don't see many of those things anymore. And Lightning, honestly, another thing that I'll say, you feel like you're part of the franchise when you're a Lightning fan.
Yeah.
You know that the owner is sticking his neck out for you, and the production, you could speak more to that than I can.
Yeah,
the amount of production that they throw in, the money they throw in, they do that for you.
Yeah.
And you go to a Rays game, you don't get any of it now.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. They got to be better. They got to be better, and it has to come from both sides. And I do implore the fans to be more open-minded now. But it's still a hard ask at this point because of what a lot of the stuff we heard yesterday. I'll tell you what, we do need to take another break, and I promise when we come back, we're going to play some of the Sternberg audio from yesterday. Many of you didn't get a chance to hear it, so I want you to hear it, and we'll kind of talk about some of the key issues that they brought up, including why did Major League Baseball shoot this down? The Rays act like they don't know, and maybe they don't know. Well, I can give them some really good reasons when we come back. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course in Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth,
wow the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com.
Are you selling your home or refinancing? JP here for Greenleaf Title. You choose the title company, not the realtor, and it makes a difference. You want a reputable company that will make sure your title is safe and secure. There are a lot of scammers out there right now. So go with a trusted company like Greenleaf Title. Plus, they will close anywhere, folks, and they will send a limo to pick you up to come to the closing. Yep, the great JP Limo Closing is back. All you got to do is give them a call at 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. We'll set up the limo for you. They'll come pick you up. Heck, we even picked up one couple, took them to Black Rock Restaurant, one of our favorite advertisers, and then to the closing. That's how they do it at Greenleaf Title. Great service. We'll close anywhere. The lowest fees in the business. 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. That's greenleaftitle.com. Who wants free mobile service? I do, and you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up. Let's go.
Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. We are also brought to you by Scott Fitzgerald, the mortgage broker that you love, the mortgage guy. Scotty Fitz, amstampa.com. Scott at amstampa.com. You can reach out to him. Mortgage rates are going up. He told us the other day they should be up in the 5s. Right now, they're still mid-3s. So if you're looking to refi, folks, lock in right now. And Scotty is still offering to pay for your appraisal. It's a $500 to $700 value if you use their services, and he will find you the best rate. He does not have those upfront lender fees, and he will work his ass off to really get the deal done, folks, and get it done quickly. So many of these banks have 6-7 month backlogs. You don't need to do that. You don't have to wait for that. He can get it done, and he'll shop your mortgage around to dozens of companies and get you the best deal. So give him a call or just email him, Scott at amstampa.com, Scott at amstampa.com. All right, so, yesterday it was kind of interesting how this whole thing went down. And I know my buddy over at DAE, Zach Blobner, broke the story, quote, broke the story. I think he did a great job. It might be the first time they've broken anything over there since I was there. It's not something they do. So hats off to Zach, although we did tell you at 10 o'clock in the morning, right? Remember for me, you're my brains here, my memory anyway. So at 10:15 early in the show, we got a text that they were having a press conference. So we were speculating as to what that was. And then we got the news that it was going to be about the Sister City plan being shot down. So I think we were kind of reporting it about the same time.
It was about the same time.
I'm not into I did it first, but I hate when other people like steal my stuff. That's BS. Then I have to speak up.
I will say, it's not like we ripped off Block Report.
No,
we had sourced our own.
Yeah,
we were doing it in between, commercial breaks.
You go back and listen to the show, folks, and that was before he tweeted out what he tweeted out.
And we were definitely the first on the press conference. I know that
absolutely, and that's whatever. And again, I applaud Zach. He did a nice job. I mean, somebody actually doing some reporting over there. That's a big deal. They should do more of it. So good job, Zach Blobner. We were there at the same time. But we've been leading the way on this story for a long, long time. We had Ken Hagan on 2 months ago. Last week, we told you that the TSA study was going to come out and show that the Sister City plan the numbers do not work. And you're going to hear this from Stu, and you heard it from Brian Auld and Matt Sternberg yesterday. They did a podcast basically saying they don't know why the MLB shut it down.
Well, I think I have a pretty good idea from some of the people that I talked to. First and foremost, they knew what I knew, that the sister city plan was not going to be workable from a Tampa Bay political standpoint. So there was going to be no public money or very little public money for a stadium. So that in and of itself is going to kill the deal. MLB also knew that the same thing was going on in Montreal. There was no political support for this idea whatsoever. It's not a good political climate up there right now for spending money on baseball stadiums. It's just not. So they knew they didn't have any political support up there. They were not going to have any political support down here for this stuff. Plus, what are they doing right now? They're negotiating with the players union. The players union in no way was going to ever support this. And this is what I've been telling you folks forever about this idea. This is this is the strongest players union in sports. And this is when they're negotiating this. They obviously this came up within the negotiations, and the PA said, this is a non-starter. Our players are not going to do this, especially when they heard other owners want to do this thing. They were nipping it in the bud, and it was a non-starter. So why continue to let the folks in Tampa Bay and the Rays continue to work on this plan when it was never, ever, ever going to happen? Because the Players Association basically has the veto power. So that's why it got dumped, as we told you it would. And we told you all along this was smoke and mirrors what the Rays were selling. Listen, I firmly believe that they thought it would work, and they think it is best for Tampa Bay, but they were wrong. They were wrong, and now we have to move on. But to act like, I don't know how they didn't. I mean, we'll play some of this sound. I think it actually sounds a little ridiculous.
It's not the wave of the future.
It's not the wave.
Let's please emphasize that as well.
I don't see it happening.
Good afternoon. I'm here to update you on our ballpark efforts and Sister City plan. Today's news is not as heartening as a couple months ago when we announced a long-term contract for one of baseball's brightest young stars. Today's news is flat out deflating. Major League Baseball's Executive Council has decided to end our Tampa Bay Montreal Sister City plan. For more than 2.5 years, with Major League Baseball's support and encouragement, we have focused our efforts on this ambitious and novel pursuit. We have made great strides both here and in Montreal. That's what makes the council's rejection of our plan all the more painful.
Great strides.
I have no doubt that what we tried to accomplish with our Sister City plan will become accepted in professional sports. Major League Baseball simply isn't prepared to cross that threshold right now. We remain sincerely grateful to all those who helped us put together.
Let's stop it down for a second. That is just, I don't know if it's disillusionment, but it's not, it was never going to happen. And when he talks about making great strides, where were the strides? Did Major League Baseball approve your pitch when you went up there at the owners meeting to explore the territorial rights? No. Was there anybody in the Montreal political forums that were excited about this idea and supporting it? No. Were the fans of Montreal supporting it? No. 60% said they wanted a full season. 46% said they would even go to a baseball game in Montreal. Where was the support up there?
The Taxpayers Association put a billboard right in front of the Trop and said absolutely not. And we even had him on the next day, Renaud Broussard from the Canadian Taxpayers. He said absolutely not. We're not in favor of this.
And the same thing was happening down here. Yes, you went into some of these chambers of commerce and hoodwinked these people saying it's either half or nothing, which again was a false choice, as we're learning, right? I guess that wasn't true. Now, was it? Because now we're pivoting to full support, full season. So, and I told you all the time that was a false choice. So let's carry on. I think this is the part where he thanks everybody.
Advocate for this bold plan to keep the Rays in Tampa Bay and to return baseball to Montreal. The open-mindedness and strong support we receive from civic, business, and political leaders across Tampa Bay and up in Quebec is greatly appreciated. To all of you, please know how thoroughly disappointed I am that we won't be able to see this through. We're indebted to you. You embody the vision and spirit that would have unified and uplifted two incredible forward-thinking North American regions. You dared to dream big alongside us, adding your hearts and minds and precious time to our efforts. You embrace the potential over the status quo. You embody what it means to be a Tampa Bay Ray. I want to thank each of you individually. However, this list is too long for this setting. We also appreciate the passionate members of our Rays community who are not fans of our sister city pursuit, yet were willing to listen and engage in constructive, thoughtful dialogue.
Is that me?
I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge and thank our partners and friends in Montreal, Pierre, William, Richard, Danielle, and in particular, Stephen Bronfman, who has been a cohort merveilleux. Despite this result, I know our camaraderie and friendships will endure. Thank you for sharing with us your love of baseball and Montreal's desire for its return. I'm grateful to our Rays employees for their typical yet extraordinary creativity and determination. They took a spark of an idea and fashioned it into a plan, ballpark sites, studies, designs, and so much more. And they put us in a position to make this groundbreaking plan a reality.
Blah, blah,
There is virtue in pursuing something you believe in, and I am proud of our efforts. I am determined that these years of pursuit and ingenuity will lead to something positive for our organization. Our ball club is coming off 3 consecutive postseason appearances, including a trip to the World Series, 2 American League titles, and a 100-win season. This is due to our players, their hard work and devotion, and to our entire organization supporting them, helping them flourish and propelling the team to near magical performances. We are all looking forward to our 2022 club and the season ahead. That's what it's really about, and it's why I'm still encouraged despite today's discouraging news. The Rays organization will be one that continues to make Tampa Bay proud, both on and off the field. We're interwoven into the fabric of our region, and we are daily contributors to what makes Tampa Bay so unique.
Okay.
Our goal is...
So that was basically the tone of the press conference. We're going to, we'll take another break and we're going to come back and play some of the questions and answers, which I think are a little bit more enlightening as to what the future plans are. We're going to get to the Bucs as well, folks. When we come back, also, we're going to hear from Tom Brady, about this upcoming game on Sunday, which is absolutely huge. I mean, this is historic, obviously, what's going on with the Rays, but we don't want to leave the Bucs behind. So we'll do some Bucs and hear from Brady when we come back. Attention home buyers or refinance candidates. It is a great time to purchase or refinance. Home values are going through the roof right now. You've got so much equity, time to tap into that equity, get the cash, and make sure you're making the right financial decisions in your life. Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services in Tampa can help you out on all those fronts. I've known Fitz for over 30 years. He's done 3 of my mortgages. In fact, Scott has done over 3,000 loans in the Tampa Bay area for many of our coaches, athletes, from Bucks to Bulls. And he can save you big money. AMS is a wholesale broker. They will shop your loan to dozens of banks and let them compete for your business. Quick story, one listener had a done deal with a big national mortgage company, was promising a 2.75 interest rate. Well, when it came time to lock in, it was 3.25. Emailed Scott, got him the actual 2.75, saved him over $3,000 in first-year payments and $2,200 in lender's fees. Email him, Scott at amstampa.com, Scott at amstampa.com. JP here from my friend, attorney Christopher Palermo. If you are having issues with a claim on your homeowner's insurance from a sinkhole, storm damage, water intrusion, defective stucco, and construction defects, or any other issue, Christopher is your man. These big insurance companies didn't get rich paying out what you deserve. Chris founded his practice in 2009 with a passion to help all Floridians with disputes where they were forced to take on the powerful and needed a champion in their corner. Chris wants to make sure you will receive the most aggressive and compassionate representations. He has recovered millions in settlements on behalf of his clients facing defective stucco damage and other construction issues. So call Chris, mention the JP Show, and he will give you a free consultation. That's 813-221-5636, or go to PalermoPA.com. He's a 5th-generation Tampanian, graduate of Jesuit High School and the University of Florida, and he cares deeply about you and the community. That's 221-5636 or PalermoPA.com.
Who wants free mobile service? I do. And you get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock.
This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo, PalermoPA.com. Well, Chris will be joining us in just a little bit. Also by the Bay Area Modern Medical Center, a very different kind of approach to primary care. Personalized preventative medicine, not a one-pill-fits-all mentality. They take a proactive approach in looking at issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, folks. This is not like your old doctor who just writes you a script. They really take time to find out what's going on with you and protect you. It's not one of those walk in, get a script, walk out, and that's it. These people really take an interest in your anti-aging. If you're into that, they do regenerative medicine, optimize your body and performance in many areas. As we like to say, getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. So Christopher Lugo, PA, and his team there will take a deep, deep interest in your health and make your lifestyle much more healthy. So you can contact them at BAMMC.com. That's BAMMC.com. All right, here's a comment we got from Michael Cook, emailed us. Stu looked like a kid who lost his ball. He has lost all of his leverage and has to work to get fans back. Needs to discount weeknight tickets, cut concession and parking prices. Also needs to accept cash again and open the upper deck for all games. Absolutely. And we're going to get to the Bucs right now, I swear. But just one last thought on this, and because a lot of this is about moving forward. This is the time for him to pivot. I mean, if they're sitting back and seeing what their next move is, this is exactly what Michael says. It's just a mea culpa like he did with the sign and say, look, Sister City idea didn't work. Okay, fine. We're going to bury that. And now we want to pivot to really being fans first as we move into this next millennial. We're going to go to Tampa. We're going to build this great stadium. But while we're here in Tropicana Field, we're going to cut concession prices. We're going to cut parking prices. We're going to cut ticket prices. We want to get people involved. It's not about the money anymore. It's about getting people in and getting them involved. I think people will react well to that. Don't you? Don't you think that they would accept that? I think a lot of people, there's a lot of bad blood out there, and I think reasonably so. But I think it's his own. If he's going to keep the team, he's got to do it.
I do, but I think some of the things that people are pointing at, I think you're getting a little carried away, like you're trying to nitpick. And I think one of those is, why don't you accept paper tickets anymore?
Stop.
I think that's ridiculous. When you start using those arguments and
accept cash.
I mean, come on. Everywhere you go, it's like that now. That's the new wave. So don't think that's a Rays only thing.
It's
please.
Not. No.
It's
that's minuscule.
Stick to the main issues. Please.
It's got to be more attitude.
Yes.
It's got to be more PR. It's just more welcoming and more embracing of the fans. He's got to do it. If he does, it's such an important thing here. People react to the owners and they support teams because of what the owners do. Just look at Jeffrey Vinnick and look how the Glazers have really, really turned things around. They really have by their actions, their deeds, and putting fans first. They completely embraced the Lightning's model. Brian Ford has done a fantastic job of taking that entire organization and making it more community friendly, more community focused, and more fan focused. Exactly what the Lightning did. And look at their success. Look what happened with them when they started doing that.
They feel like a first-class organization.
all of a sudden. Golly, Rays, the template is right there for you. Just follow it. It's not that hard. All right, the Bucs. No new real injury news except to say that
we have updates here. Actually.
Oh, we do. Okay,
yeah, because they're at practice right now.
Cool.
This is pretty significant from Greg Allman. Tristan Wirfs he's out there with the offensive lineman. He's fully going out there.
Really?
No evident limp. Testing to see if he can go.
Wow, that is huge news. Thank you, Greg Allman.
Ryan Jensen is in the same boat. He's out there testing with the ankle, but he looks okay.
Wow.
Leonard Fournette as well. And then some of the lesser ones, Bunting and Grayson, are on the side doing hamstring work. So maybe they even have a shot to play.
Tristan Wirfs is out there without a noticeable limp?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I guess he doesn't have a high ankle sprain. That's
or he's just
huge.
A freak.
Yeah, that's it. We saw that the other day. I mean, this dude jumps out of pools. It's humongous human being. So, yeah, and when you're built like that, you can sustain injury better.
Yeah. So,
wow, that's huge.
The only one who looks like he's not out there is Ronald Jones. That is it.
Yeah, and who cares?
So there you go.
I'm done with him. Moving on to Sneak Vaughn. Sorry, you had your chance. You want to stay in the pit at the pass for you. You do that. All right, let's hear from the GOAT. He talked yesterday, and I believe he was kind of upbeat about Leonard Fournette and a lot of different things. Here's the GOAT.
Hey, Tom. I just wanted to ask you, we'll see what happens, right, with Leonard Fournette and then what he's able to do if he's able to play on Sunday. But tell me just what he has meant this year sort of to your offense and his growth. I mean, I guess it started really in the playoffs a year ago, but I know you got other guys too that have played really well.
Yeah, Leonard does a great job when he's in there, and I think his obviously there's a lot of different things for us in the run game, pass game, blitz pickup. Very dependable, consistent player for us. So he's had a lot of production this year. Other guys really stepped up when he was out, but obviously we all love having Lenny in there. So did a great job in the big moments. Sure, I think everyone believes in him and trusts in him, and knows he can really come through for us.
Sarah Walsh.
Hey, Tom. What is it about this team? You guys did this last year where you were able to avenge losses from the regular season and the postseason, and now you have the opportunity again with the Rams. And Mike Evans said something to us yesterday, like, I love facing teams that beat us. How do you approach that? Do you look forward to it? And why has this Bucs team been successful in having the right outcome at the right time?
I think that, you got to, all these games are a little bit independent from one another. And yeah, we played them earlier in the year, and a very different team we had. I think a little bit of a different team they had too. So they're each their own individual type game. They're going to require their own individual performance and stuff. So I think the point is it doesn't really matter what happened, in October when we played them last. It's really about this game, what we learned from the last game. And anytime you know your opponent, I think that always gives you a little bit of understanding of kind of what they do well, things you wish you would have done. But it's a very talented football team. Obviously, one of the great teams in the NFL, really good offense, tremendous defense, really well coached, great specialists. So it's going to be a very, very difficult game for us.
Greg Allman.
Hey, Tom, in your history, obviously you had so much success in the playoffs playing in your home stadium. This team, so much better at home. I think it's 30 points every game except the Saints. Obviously, it's an advantage that you guys earned this year. And just want to ask you why you think you guys have played so much better here in Tampa at home.
I don't know. It's a good question. We'd want to play well every week, regardless of where we play and who we play. Some weeks are a little bit better than others. And, it's, we're going to have to play great this week. That's the point. This team really challenges you. So I'm glad we're playing at home. There's great communication for us. We're going to have to be really on top of a lot of different things, especially a team does as many different fronts and pressures. They have a lot of different personnel packages. A lot of guys come in and rotate for them. So our communication is going to be really important.
Generally,
that's such a huge deal, especially when they go no huddle.
Hey, Tom, I don't know if you remember this, although you got a pretty good memory. I was talking to one of your former colleagues about a particular game. It might have been a postseason game where you and Josh McDaniels, like the morning of the game, you made a suggestion to him about moving Randy Moss into the slot on a particular play because you thought it would draw a better matchup. Just can you speak to, first of all, if you remember that, but also just the way you've embraced kind of this chess match and the fact that you are constantly trying to think of ways to get yourself better matchups.
Yeah, I think the preparation, it just obviously starts as soon as the moment ends, and then it goes right up until the start of the game. So, I don't put it past any of us to come in on Saturday morning or Sunday morning and say, hey, I think we should do this, or I was watching some things on Saturday afternoon, and I think maybe this gives us a better opportunity, because you just got to keep using every minute you have to get to ultimately the game. And, I think it's a really important part of preparation is, once you get the game plan in, you kind of keep refining it and tweaking it, and you always get in a position where it's just, you feel like it's a little bit better. And, we do that throughout the week, and obviously it goes right up till kickoff. So, and then obviously into the game, I think we should do this and as a type of adjustment. So those are all really important things to have at your disposal.
Which they do really well.
Hey, Tom, your success in the playoffs has exceeded, just your accomplishments have exceeded every player in the NFL. You're now being compared to some franchises where you've had more touchdown passes, more wins than most franchises in the NFL. Have you accomplished everything you've wanted to in the NFL, or are there things out there you still want to check off?
I think it's just a credit to all the great teams I've been on. I've just been a part of so many great teams over a long period of time. So I love that I've been able to do it for as long as I've had. I love the game and I love being out there with my teammates. So we just had a lot of success over a lot of years trying to do the right thing. And obviously what we've done here the last, 2 seasons has been a lot of fun for me to learn and grow with these players and our organization and put ourselves in a good position. Now we got to go take advantage of it.
We have time for a few more. We'll go to John Ledger.
Tom, Mike Evans told us this past week that he loves to see man coverage. I know the Rams, I think, play less man coverage than any other team in the league, but it's not really a true zone when you look at them, right? They have some aggressive matchup principles. How do you prepare for a defense that's kind of unique like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think man coverage is definitely a part of things that we face from time to time, and zone coverage has kind of become man once people come to their area. So this is a really tough matchup. These guys lock onto you pretty good at times too. So they may call it zone, but a lot of times it plays like man, and certain route concepts are guarded like man. So, I think this team does a lot of good things well. Obviously, rush passer well. I think they cover you really well in the secondary. They get a lot of turnovers. They sack the quarterback, strip sacks. They have a lot of dynamic players. Obviously, Jalen Ramsey's one of the great corners in the league. So between the guys that they have in the secondary as well as the front, you have no place that you can take off. These guys they can turn you over. They can make big plays like they did the other night when David Long got the pick 6. So it's a very, very challenging team.
All right, there's the GOAT, Tom Brady, as he gets set to take on the Rams Sunday at 3:00. Weather's going to be good, partly cloudy in the mid-60s. Going to be beautiful football weather. Place is going to be packed. Everybody's going to be wearing their red like I'm wearing right now for our Buccaneers. It's going to be on. I cannot wait for this atmosphere. It's going to be a great game. Very evenly matched, and it just comes down to who's going to make the plays and make the less mistakes. And said this yesterday, I'll take the more experienced coaching staff, the better coaching staff, and the better and more experienced quarterback. And that, my friends, is the Buccaneers and Tom Brady. All right, when we come back, Christopher Palermo will join us. He is the man that was behind those TV ads that kind of got the real fans' voice going against the sister city plan, and there's no doubt Major League Baseball was listening. We'll talk to Chris when we come back. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course at Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth. Wow, the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities, including (964-0400). That's 941-964-0400.
Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The market cap for the industry is now over $1 trillion. And you read about people making millions of dollars, right? You want to get in, but have no idea what to do? Or maybe you dabbled a bit and you want to unlock the real money-making opportunities and don't know how to do it. There are over 10,000 tokens and thousands of decentralized finance exchanges to navigate. So what do? you go to defylava.com. The folks at defylava.com are in Tampa Bay, and they work with you directly to set up custom accounts, answer all your questions, and provide market analysis. Decentralized finance and cryptocurrencies are here to stay and will change the financial markets as we know them. Get in the game. Get with the experts at defylava.com and tell them JP sent you, and get their free 2022 crypto market forecast today at defylava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at defylava.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. The second hour brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center. A very different approach to primary care, personalized preventative medicine, not a one-pill-fits-all mentality. Chris Lugo, PA, and his team will get you right at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. That's BAMMC.com. All right, we want to welcome in our good friend Christopher Palermo, our title sponsor, and also the man who brought the voice to the fans against the Sister City plan with his television campaign and much, much more. What's up, Chris? How are you, my friend? Take a victory lap. Sister City scheme is dead.
JP, I'm going to tell you what. I woke up this morning and all I could think of was the witch is dead.
The witch is dead.
The witch is dead. And you know, I say this, JP, and I really want to thank your listeners. Yeah. I'm going to tell you something. Yep. All your listeners, I think, are the reason that this happened. Your listeners did the work to call the politicians, to send the emails, to call Major League Baseball, to send the emails, to call the Tampa Bay Times, to send the emails. Yep. And I'm telling you, that changed the equation.
I agree. I totally agree.
I'm telling you, your listeners, JP, need to feel very satisfied today. What we mobilized through this campaign is historic.
Yeah. There's no question. Listen, when I went on with Stu yesterday, what was the first thing he said? Snarkily, thank you for your support. He heard us. He heard us. Major League Baseball heard us. Absolutely.
JP, let me tell you something. That man's face spoke a million words. Yeah. When you were speaking to him, he knew who helped take him down.
Yeah.
And I think that you should be proud. I feel proud. I feel all the people in this area who worked so hard over the last few months to put an end to this madness. I think we should all be so proud of ourselves. We were truly Tampa Bay. Yeah. We truly were Tampa Bay.
Absolutely, 100%.
And this is the big thing that this area has to realize. I'm tired. You know what? There has been a narrative far too long trying to dump on this area. Yep. Well, guess what, guys? That narrative has changed. Stu basically said it yesterday. The people up north in New York City who basically run the finances of this country, they think Tampa Bay is a hot market.
Yeah.
Okay. They think Tampa Bay is it. Okay.
Yeah.
And let's keep in mind, this is something, JP, and I thank you for allowing me to kind of talk on this because I have a lot of thoughts.
I know you do.
I'm very one thing we need to realize, and I think Stu Sternberg in the financial community is really a backbencher. Okay, he's a backbencher, and I'm going to tell you what a backbencher is. A backbencher is just an also-ran. Okay, so he was a partner, and he was a partner at a large Wall Street firm. You know how many partners get named a year? Like 1,000.
Yeah,
there are thousands of partners. He is nothing more than a soldier. He's not Jeffrey Vinnick. And you and I were talking about Jeffrey Vinnick is a Wall Street superstar. He's one of 6 people to run the Magellan Fund.
Right.
Jeffrey Vinnick is known in Singapore. Jeffrey Vinnick is known in Hong Kong. Jeffrey Vinnick is asked to go on the financial networks and opine on the economy.
Right.
People don't even know who the hell Stuart Sternberg is. And listen, let me tell you something. Jeffrey Vinnick has the gravitas to bring in a guy like Bill Gates. Bill Gates won't even take Stuart Sternberg's phone call. So this is what we have to understand about ourselves. Stuart Sternberg has been dogging us and downing us for 10 years. Okay?
Right.
No longer than that. I would say since the day he bought the team.
Yeah.
Sternberg is not an expert. Let's get that through our heads. Stuart Sternberg is not an expert. Major League Baseball essentially took his adolescent butt and took him to his room and closed the door and said, "You're going to sit here for a while in timeout, buddy."
Yep.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, listen, somebody, one of my friends in Las Vegas, been following this saga for a long time, reminded me about 2-3 years ago when, remember when Major League Baseball spanked him back then about 2-3 years ago about the stadium situation when he commented on the Ybor deal not getting done. He smacked down Stu pretty good, saying that the Rays need to be more proactive. They need to be more engaged. They need to be finding more solutions and working with the local. And what was Stu's answer to that? The sister city plan. And this is, and I don't want to make this personally about Stu, but the bottom line is when he came up, what he's been selling is an abandonment of Tampa Bay. I mean, let's just call it what it is. This sister city plan is brilliant as he thinks it is. It downgrades our city. It tells the world that our baseball owner doesn't think we can support a full-time baseball team. We're not a big enough city. Our fan base isn't good enough. We're a second-class city. And that's what got me and you so viscerally pissed off. Screw that. Who are you to say that when the rest, as you pointed out, the rest of the world thinks we're pretty damn good. Pretty damn good.
That's right. And a backbencher. No, let's reiterate this. Stuart Sternberg is not a financial expert. If I went and tried to qualify him in a court of law as a financial expert, I don't think I'd do it. I'd go get me somebody like Jeffrey Vinnick, who's a bona fide expert.
Yes.
He's not an expert.
All right, well, let's
pivot.
You want
to know how Stu Sternberg made money in Wall Street? He was a trader. You know what traders do? They're short term. They're always looking for a quick buck. They're not visionaries. They're not inspirational investors. They don't change the world. They suck blood out of the world.
Okay.
And that's what
all right.
This is my point. This is my point on Stu. Stu better come correct now, okay? He's got a fraud lawsuit going on in Pinellas County Circuit Court, okay?
That's right. Don't forget that.
And I'm going to tell you something. If he keeps playing around like he looks like he wants to play around, he better roll his sleeves up, get this deal done with Tampa, or don't be shocked if we get a Marge Schott or a George Steinbrenner removal.
Listen, I'm with you on this because Major League Baseball, and I don't think they took very kindly to him saying that he felt so betrayed by his fellow owners yesterday.
Oh, that was so bad.
That was terrible. I've told folks this. One of the reasons this was never going to work is because the owners are pissed at him now. There's a feeling of distrust because of the allegations that were made public in this lawsuit, that he's defrauded his partners, that he's got $500 million that he's transferred into a new company. They've been giving him. I mean, I tell people all the time, put yourself in the other owners' positions. They're writing him checks, $60-70 million a year for revenue sharing because he can't make enough money down here. When he's kicking their ass on a $70 million payroll and putting another $70-80 million into his pocket. He's got a $500 million chunk of cash. You don't think that pisses off the other owners? Of course it does. Yeah. And they want him to get the deal done here.
JP, listen, I'm going to tell you what ended up happening. They basically spanked him. They did what BA did to AB, and basically Stuart Sternberg did the equivalent of running through the end zone, peace out. I'm telling you that's what he did. If I'm Major League Baseball and I listen to those sour grapes that he was putting out there yesterday, I'm pissed. Learn your lesson, Stu. Shut your mouth. Quit trying to be clever because you're not. People see what you are. Get down to work with the city of Tampa. Let's get this damn stadium done and let's make this thing successful. Quit your crap.
Yeah, this is my biggest message today is that in moving forward and talking with Ken Hagan, I think he agrees with me that there's so much forward momentum here. I think the city and the county is in a really good place right now, not having to deal with this sister city plan. And by the way, they had to spend a lot of man hours pandering for this stupid sister city plan that they knew wasn't going to work just to make the Braves happy. That cost them a lot of money. These are lawyers working on these are very detailed studies that are happening. I don't know what the number is, but I'm sure it's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars that they wasted.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and we wasted 2.5 years of time. We could have been concentrating on getting a full stadium done on this cockamamie idea that was never going to work. And and instead of apologizing for that, he sat there and lamented it all day yesterday about poor me. Nobody understands my brilliant plan, and this just isn't fair. I mean, my God,
so misunderstood.
I mean,
I'm so
Jesus.
misunderstood.
He's
like a mad scientist. That's all he is. And the thing about it is this: look, let's turn the page now.
Right.
Let's turn the page. I'm going to tell you this. I'm willing to give Stu a shot if he's willing to do the right thing.
Right.
Okay.
And I think all fans are. Well, maybe not all fans. Yeah. If you can do it, as much as you hate the dude, if you can do it, everybody can.
Listen, I believe every last word I say about this man. I think this is a dirty dude. I'm put me on a stand in a court of law. I will say it, and I will say it unabashedly, and I got the evidence to prove it. Okay, but there's lots of dirty dudes out there with lots of money. Okay,
right. Absolutely.
Listen, if you're going to just avoid dirty dudes, you're never going to have nothing going on.
We'll have no owners in any sports, right?
That's right. So this is the thing.
Except for Jeffrey Bennick.
It's like, look, when you're around have you ever gone to a friend's house that has a really dangerous dog?
I try to avoid it, but I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? I try to avoid it as well. But when you walk in the house and you see maybe a pit bull that looks a little squirrely or Rottweiler or something like that, we need to be very cautious around Stu. We know what his proclivities are. He has a proclivity to try.
Well, he's kind of more of the Chihuahua that's yapping, though, isn't it? I wouldn't go pit bull or Rottweiler. I'd go yappy Chihuahua. I think that's where I'd go.
Yeah, like you got bit and you didn't even realize you got bit, and you look at the back of your leg and you see a little blood. Exactly.
All right,
so,
we're
we digress. But listen, this is the one thing I'd like to say, JP. I want to say this to your fans, okay? I want to say this to your listeners. I want to say this to the good people of Tampa Bay. We need now, though, to hold these executives who signed this letter. We're going to hold their feet to the fire. I expect to see Gosmart buying lots of season tickets. I expect to see the CEO of Tampa General buying lots of season tickets. You all better reach in those pockets if we get this Ybor Stadium going, because I'm going to tell you what we need to do. We need to turn whatever Ybor Stadium that is built into the equivalent of Amalie Arena.
Absolutely.
And we can do.
Yes, we can.
We can become.
Yes,
we can become absolutely the gold standard in sports in this country.
I agree. 100%. 100%. And I think we're going to pivot towards obviously the full season plan, but I think what we need to do as fans is and I'm not saying we have to run by season tickets to Tropical Field. I don't expect anybody to do that, but I would say we need to have a concerted effort to support the team more this year, to go to more games. But again, Stu needs to meet us in the middle with a lot better marketing opportunities, $10 tickets, $5 beers, all that stuff. But more than anything, just come out with do another press conference and like a mea culpa about the Sister City plan and bring us all together, a very unifying speech, and say, I'm going to pay half for the new stadium in Tampa Bay. We're all going to work together. I got all this corporate support. We're all going to be rowing in the same direction, and we're going to kick ass. I mean, it's simple to do.
That's right.
It's simple to do.
And you can bring us together. You know what, JP?
I'll write the speech for you, Stu. Free of charge.
Yes. Can I tell you something? I've you and I've talked a lot. I know where your heart is. I know where my heart is. The only thing you and I want is thriving, successful franchises in Tampa.
Yeah, and Stu can stuff his pockets full of money. I don't care.
I don't care if he has more money falling out of his pocket. Listen, I don't begrudge people for making a lot. I just don't like it when you do it unethically.
Yeah, and you're downgrading Tampa Bay. And you're
downgrading. Listen, let me tell you something. You and I'm not only an attorney in town, I run a business, I'm an investor. I'm inextricably linked to Tampa Bay.
Right.
I benefit, you benefit, we all benefit when Tampa Bay is perceived positively in the national stage.
Exactly.
Brady, let me tell you something. because I deal with Wall Street. Listen, I have Wall Street connections because in litigation, I do some litigation finance options on certain things. So I have some friends that I actually have become close with that run hedge funds, okay?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. They all think Tampa Bay's hot. And you want to know one of the biggest things that happened to boost Tampa Bay's image? Tom Brady coming here.
Of course, 100%. Sports.
Tom Brady coming. Listen,
Sports
I'm telling you,
matters.
you have no idea how many people up north that used to look at a jaundiced eye with Tampa Bay now look like, man, what's going on there? Brady chose there.
Damn right. It's a big deal.
What Stu needs to understand, and so does Vinnick, every time Vinnick gets on CNBC or the other financial networks, Vinnick lauds Tampa Bay. He's a promoter. This clown needs to just shut his mouth. You know the old adage, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all.
Absolutely. Well, let's hope let's hope he pivots. And Chris, thank you for leading the charge in this. You put your money where your mouth is. You brought the passion. And I think Major League Baseball heard you and heard the fans, and we're finally rid of this silly idea. And we look forward to working with you in future here as we get Stu and the Rays focused on downtown Tampa and Ybor City, and we get this thing done. Thank you, man. I appreciate your passion.
Listen,
Congratulations.
Let me just say one last thing in part, JP.
Yeah.
We're moving positive, guys. Everybody that's listening to this broadcast, we're going positive now. My law firm has always been willing. I spend a lot of money on the Rays. I'm willing to sign a contract, make a commitment. I think we need to make sure that all the folks in this town that have to do it, those folks that signed that letter, we need to hold their feet to the fire. We need to move forward, and we need to make one thing possible and one thing our priority. We need to make the Tampa Bay Rays successful.
Yep. And we're going to put together another Rays 100 type of group. We're going to put pledges on paper, and we're going to show Stu Sternberg, yes, you have the corporate support. We're ready to go, and let's make it happen. We need to do that, and that's our next move. So we're
well, congratulations to yourself, JP. You've been, like I've told you, I've been listening to you for well over a long time. I've been listening to you for 2 decades, and you're brave, man. You're one of the only ones that have the steel in your spine to do what you had to do at a lot of times at your own peril. But you've got ethics and you've got conviction, and I appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you, Chris. Right back at you. All right, we're gonna go talk some Bucks. Go Bucks, because I know you'll be there Sunday.
Go Bucks. Listen, get in that stadium, guys, and let's make that stadium loud. We need you. I'm gonna be there screaming my head off. Come on, Tampa Bay, let's celebrate in Raymond James on Sunday.
You're the personification of the Tampa Bay sports fan, brother. I love you. I love you. All right,
buddy.
Quick break. When we come back, Shane Stafford's going to join us. We're going to break down some of the matchups in this game against. Oh, here they come, the freaking Los Angeles Rams, the bane of our existence. You know, we owe them. It's time for a little payback. Stay with us. Attention home buyers or refinance candidates. It is a great time to purchase or refinance. Home values are going through the roof right now. You've got so much equity. Time to tap into that equity, get the cash, and make sure you're making the right financial decisions in your life. Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services in Tampa can help you.
Who wants free mobile service? I do, and you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Our second hour presented by Bay Area Modern Medical Center. A very different approach to primary care. And also by the Golden Diamond Source. The Golden Diamond Source, your source for the best in jewelry. It's like a toy store for adults to go in and get all kinds of watches and earrings and pendants and engagement rings and all kinds of fun stuff there. And a great, great staff. Just walk right in. They're just like family. Tell them JP sent you, by the way. Julie and Steve Weintraub, great folks. They have a great selection there. A lot of things you can't find anywhere else. The Emily collection, the Julie collection. So get your girl something that she will not see anywhere else and she would love forever. They always have their diamond savings account. You bring your diamond back, you get full credit for what you paid. You can upgrade it. Your girl would love that as well. So head on over there. It's the Golden Diamond Source, just 10, 15 minutes from South Tampa across the Howard Franklin Bridge. Easy to get to, fun to hang out, and you'll walk out with a very, very satisfied purchase. Do something just for fun for your lady. Doesn't have to be a special occasion. You got Valentine's Day coming up, though. So get on over there. All right, want to welcome in our good friend Sugar Shane Stafford, our quarterback guru, former NFL, AFL, UConn quarterback. What's up, brother? How are you?
What's going on, man? Happy Friday. Let's get it, man.
Let's get it. We got a matchup, big football matchup coming up, 3:00 on Sunday. Raymond James will be packed. First ever we've had back-to-back playoff games in the stadium. And here come the LA Rams, a very, very talented group that have given the Bucs fits over the last few years. How do you see this matchup? And we got good news, by the way. Tristan Wirfs was at practice today without a noticeable limp. So he might be able to play this week. That's a big deal.
Yeah, that's a huge deal, man. I'll tell you, if Raymond James is rocking like it's this Sunday, like it was last Sunday, or was it Sunday? I forget. But if they're rocking like they were last week, man, it's going to be awesome. Wish I could be there, but that's going to be a huge, huge help. So those Bucs fans, man, we're going to need them, no doubt, against this team. And my big thing here, just watching. I was watching last night, the last time when they played them in week 3.
Yeah.
Granted, the team was a little different there in LA with some of the guys on defense, some of the guys on offense. But at the end of the day, still be able to pick up on some things. And, I was just kind of taking some notes. Big thing is just starting fast, man. Last time we didn't start fast at all. We didn't score until the second quarter, I don't think, or late in the first, kind of a deal. We had a drop by Jamel Dean and then a big drop by Gronk early in the first quarter. We had a caused fumble that we didn't recover. So we had a lot of opportunities, and we didn't get any pressure on Matthew Stafford in the first half at all. And he started slow as dirt, man. He was not good. And then next thing you know, he got comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
He hits Cooper Kupp on a corner. They get into a rhythm. The run game gets going, and the LA Rams get up on us, and now we're playing from behind, and that's what you don't want to do against this defense.
What do you think? I think even though they came out in it last game, and the Rams are certainly going to be prepared for the no huddle, up-tempo offense. In looking at the tape, do you think that's something that they can do against this Rams defense? I mean, obviously the Eagles were playing a little bit soft, so it made it easy for those quick passes. I would think that they're going to get up and press coverage, and I think it's going to be a very, very aggressive game by both teams. I think both defenses are going to try to really shut down the run and get after it and not play soft. What do you think?
Yeah, ironically, and part of the thing, what I would do, schematically, and I'm not in the NFL as an offense coordinator or a head coach.
You're an OC.
But my point is, moving Mike Evans around a little bit. If you watch last time we played them again, they played a lot of zone early on, a lot of zone, and they didn't even match up Jalen Ramsey, your boy from Florida State there, didn't even match him up against Mike Evans. They had Darius Williams on his side, who's 5'9", a $190 kind of deal against Mike Evans, who's a grown man's man. But I do agree with you. They do need to go up tempo, and that goes along with starting fast, JP.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not a no huddle, but I do think they need to, speed up the tempo, get in and out of the huddle. Maybe change some of the, the variations of personnel groupings, you know, going, whether you're going 10, 11, 12, or, you know, 20, 21, 22 personnel kind of deals, having 2 tight ends, having 3 tight ends, then coming back with 1 tight end and doing things like that, but doing it at a tempo, and do that early on as well, just to kind of get a feel on what they're going to see and how the Rams are going to match up.
Right.
And then especially if you go that double tight end set, you then can become creative with your pass protections. You can also do it in, you know, your 10 or 11 personnel as well, but bigger bodies, you know, more space to run around. So I do agree with the up-tempo type of thing, and I'm telling you that starting fast is going to be a key factor, along with hopefully getting playoff end back, you know, Leonard Fournette.
You know, when you look at the Rams being down their top 2 safeties, Jordan Fuller is also their leading tackler. How would you attack that if you're Byron Leftwich, and you know you don't have a whole lot of time to throw because they pressured Brady 16 times? How do you get the ball out quick, but still able to attack downfield and attack those safeties? What would be your strategy?
That's it. That's the $100 million question right there. And that's where you got to get creative with maybe a heavy run play action, and you know, you max protect. If you get a safety that's really, really involved in the box and wants to be aggressive as a run tackler and fill in those things, what you want to do then is get into your 2 tight end set, your heavy kind of set, and where it looks like it's going to be a run and a heavy play action. And if they're going to play that kind of quarter with safety or look to jump, you know, anything with a run play or the first in cut, now you can bang them over the top, over the head, you know, with leverage, because that the receiver will have leverage against that corner. So that's one way to do it. There's multiple ways. Again, like I said, what you can do is then use multiple shifts and or motions and give them different looks, some bunch looks, some trips looks, some tight trips looks.
Yeah.
And get those guys in an uncomfortable situation
where they got to think and communicate, and they're not starters, and it's loud and all
correct.
That. Yeah, get some confusion going there, because when you get broken coverages, as if inevitably you will, when you have guys filling in right on the back end, you're going to get broken coverages, and that's where, and that could be a difference in this game. Because just had Mario Christian type in here and say feel like it's going to be a lower scoring game. I do too. I think I think the defenses are going to kind of win the day here, and if you can get a big play and get a broken coverage and steal a touchdown, it's going to be huge in this game. Would you agree?
No doubt. I don't expect this game to be, you know, a 35-38 game or something like that. It may be, we talk about low scoring nowadays. It's no longer 10-7. It's like 20-17 kind of a deal.
That's a low game. Yeah, absolutely.
But no, I do agree. I think the offense is, because of injuries, because of the ability of each team on defense being able to make plays and create turnovers and create sacks and long third in such situations. It could be a defensive game, but man, you never know. I mean, both teams are really, really good. They have a ton of talent. They're coached really well. It's going to be interesting, man. This is going to be a must-see game, no doubt about it.
What do you so how do you see the whole thing playing out? You think the Bucs win this? You think it I'm watching some tape right now of Aaron O'Donnell just having his way with the Bucs first team offensive line. I mean, Brady got beat up in that first game, but they're going to have, they're going to make adjustments. But when you make adjustments, like you said, you're using those extra personnel, like the tight ends, to help block, that affects, who you can put out in coverage. So it's a chess match. So, how do the Bucs handle that?
Yeah, and that's a great way to describe it. It is going to be the ultimate chess match, man. It's going to be one of those games where in-game adjustments are going to be so important. There's going to be crucial situations, defensively where we pressure Matthew Stafford and do it creatively but timely as well.
Yeah.
Because they have the ability with Cooper Kupp and Beckham Jr. out there, and then their tight end, I forget his name, but they have some athletes that can make a lot of plays, and Akers is playing well right now. But the key is And how I see it playing out, if we start fast and we're able to put the ball in Matthew Stafford's hands and make him have to beat us, I foresee that being a great bonus for us in terms of creating turnovers and making sure we dictate the tempo of the game.
Where does Matthew Stafford make his mistakes? When he's under pressure, when he's on the move? Where is he at his worst? What is
Sometimes when he's overconfident, man, the dude has a hella arm strength. And sometimes it's just overconfidence, but definitely when it's pressure. He's not mobile in the pocket. He really isn't. He's not creative in the pocket as you would think he is. Whereas a Tom Brady, who's slow as dog dirt, he put everybody's, you can rarely sack him, right? You know, and he's still rushing for, but see, Matthew Stafford, he's a different kind of creature. And the guy is a heck of a player. Don't get me wrong. I'm not criticizing obviously at all, but some of his downfalls are his overconfidence, I think, sometimes in his arm strength. And then just where Tom Brady does excel in this way, Matthew Stafford doesn't. That is the timely mistake. Understanding the situation. When should I try and fit that ball? When should I take that shot? And I think Matthew Stafford takes those risks at the wrong times, where those are costly mistakes. Where Brady, when he makes his mistakes, not very costly. Knock on wood.
Yeah. All right, partner. This is going to be a good one. You got any other information on the other games that you wanted to talk about? Aaron Rodgers going up against Jimmy G and the 49ers. I think that's going to be a very fun game. 4 degrees.
That should be a fun game to watch. I would say, how about Mike McCarthy saying, "Oh, my team was nervous." Well, address it. Tell them to calm down.
Do something.
I don't know if you saw that.
Yes, it's like it's your job to get him in the right mind frame. Man. I know. And my guys were nervous.
Hey, coach, we're really nervous. Okay, go out and play, guys. Good luck.
Take some Xanax. I don't think that's going to work for you. That's great. What's the like? It's going to be 4 degrees Saturday night for the Packers game, Packers Niners, and you're playing a physical team like the Niners. Oh, God, it's got to hurt. What's the coldest you ever played in at UConn or wherever?
I was in the teens.
Yeah.
In the teens. Yeah. I never got down to the single digits, but it was with the wind chill. It was in the like 12, 13-ish area.
Snow?
Low teens.
Did you get to play the snow?
More like freezing rain and nastiness and wind, and it was disgusting, man. Like nobody wanted to be there. Everybody was miserable. We're like, who cares who wins the game? Let's just get out of here. Where you go and take a shower and your skin just burns because it's like you're so cold, man. It's brutal. That's tough, man. That's tough. But back then we didn't have all the stuff that they have now,
like the heaters,
behind keeping yourself warm. Yeah, it was brutal.
All right, brother. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll chat with you on Monday. All right.
You too. Don't be surprised if I send you some crazy text during the game on Sunday.
Please do. I love it when you do that. Yeah. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you.
Great Shane Stafford right there. Follow him on Twitter, Shane Stafford 14. We have to hit another break, or we're good to go. We're good to go. All right, cool. Well, we can, we got any more Buck sound there that we want to get to?
Cue up some Buck sound, but I thought this was curious. You want to hear?
Yeah, I do. You always find some gems there, Nick. What do you got?
Antonio Brown is making his return to Tampa Bay.
Is he going to play for the Bandits?
Nope.
In the USFL?
Nope.
By the way, that's happening. We haven't done
this. Is happening January 30th from 4 o'clock to 8 p.m., which, by the way, if all things go right, that's when the Bucs will be playing in the NFC title game. Antonio Brown's Sunday Fun Day at Eden, Tampa, in downtown Tampa.
What's it called? Eden?
Eden.
Yeah, that's the old Franklin, whatever the hell it was. Yeah. So he's gonna be. Is he gonna do like a rap show?
Music by Giuseppe Lance Baggio.
Ooh.
So
been wanting to see him.
Get your tickets if you want to.
What is he? Is he gonna rap?
He might rap Pit in the Palace.
To the Pit Palace.
Maybe Rojo will be there with him.
And it's about the time that they'll be playing in the NFL. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think he's made a good choice there, right? I mean, why would you want to play with Tom Brady in an NFC Championship game on your way to another, turning it into maybe a $10, $15 million contract next year when you can be at Eden with Giuseppe and friends.
And Ava Louise, maybe.
Ava Louise might make a special. Are you kidding me? We got to retweet that.
Yeah,
What?
I'm dead serious.
Wow. That's he's got to be really, really happy about his choice, Well done.
Yeah.
I think he's really, his career's really headed in the right direction. You think Brady will be there? No, he might be busy.
No,
he might be busy.
Just a little bit busy.
Might be busy.
But like I said, I think Rojo will have some time on his hands to join him.
I
think
he might. Yeah, they can do a duet for the Pit and the Palace, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there room for that?
I think so. I'd buy.
Yeah. All right. We just have a couple more minutes here. I know we haven't gotten to a lot of different things, but this is a historic time, and it's been a long road for us here, and me talking about Sister City for so long, and there were lots of times when we took a lot of slings and arrows, and people saying that that we need to jump on board with this, and we're going to lose our team, and this is the only way it's going to happen. And I tried to be as honest as I possibly could with you folks about the false narratives that the Rays were spewing out. And I don't take any great pleasure in going after Stu Sternberg personally. I know Christopher Palermo certainly does, but I think a lot of people and listening, we've got a lot of great feedback from you fans, by the way. I could read, a ton of messages. It just sounds very self-glossing though, that I've gotten basically thanking me for asking the question that so many wanted to ask Stu Sternberg. And trust me, I was shocked that they called on me, but I give him full credit for allowing me to ask those questions and for him to answer it. And I don't think he was a little disingenuous saying that he really embraced the area and he never offered to pay for half the stadium. I mean, Ken Hagan, we had him on at the beginning of the show. He confirmed that. That's just silly.
Plenty of articles, and I saw a lot of people pinning them yesterday where it says 150 million was his best offer.
Exactly. But I really do appreciate all you fans that reached out to us and said thank you to us. But it really is an honor and a privilege when any of you say thank you for being a voice of the fan. It means a lot to me because like Christopher said, we're all in this together. We're just here. We want to keep the Rays in Tampa Bay. And I've always said this, follow the money. This is where it needs to be in downtown Tampa. We are so close right now to getting this finally done. And I think Major League Baseball has had enough of Stu stringing this out and trying to bring leverage and the sister city plan and all this BS. They've had enough of it, and they want him to stay here. This market is extremely important for Major League Baseball. I'll reiterate that. They do not want him to leave, and they know that Major League Baseball they communicate with Ken Hagan and the people in government here, and they know that they want to keep the Rays here, and they want to do a 50-50, 55-45 split, whatever it is, to get the deal done. And for Major League Baseball, that's extremely palatable. That's what happened in Atlanta. That's what happened in Arlington. That's what's I think we're going to see happen in Oakland as well. They don't want teams to leave markets because they want to expand. And this is the way to do it. But mostly, I want to say thank you to the fans for thanking us for what we're doing and supporting our show, because our numbers have tripled in the past month as this sister city thing has gone down.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been great to always be the voice of the fans, like you said, and to do this. And I've learned a lot doing this from being next to you in this whole process. So I've enjoyed that as well. And let's also keep in mind, the Rays are a pretty damn good team.
That's right.
Let's remember
we haven't even talked about that.
It's a shame. And I know I did commend Stu a little bit that he brought the team into it, and that should be the focus going forward.
Absolutely.
And I've always kind of felt that way as well. And even though he got in the way of it, I thought, with the banner at the beginning, and he did apologize. I'll give him credit for that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, you need to support your team. You need to support your team because it's a 100-win team that we think might be ascending. We don't know. We'll see what happens after the lockout's over, the moves they make. But it's going to be a great product to watch. It clearly is on TV and on radio. Everybody there does a great job, but you got to go to the games.
Yeah.
You got to go to the games.
Well, I think just, whether the team canceled the sister city plan, which they didn't, or MLB, it doesn't matter. We're moving on to a full season here in Tampa Bay, and there's absolutely no reason it shouldn't happen. I heard, Ian yesterday, and listen, I love Ian. Ian and I worked together for a long, long time back in Channel 8. We're not rivals. We're not, People think we hate each other. I know Pat doesn't like me. He had to say that yesterday. He says, "Oh, a lot of people don't like JP." Oh yeah, but everybody loves you, Pat. Everybody loves you. Yeah. Some people don't like me because I speak my mind and I'm the voice of the fans. Yeah, I know Stu Sternberg doesn't like me. I'm not in this business to get Stu to like me. Okay, I'm in this to represent the fan and speak the truth. And yeah, I'll take your slings and arrows all day, pal. No problem. We got a lot more popularity than you do. Go look at my old ratings and where yours are. But anyway, and by the way, I love Aaron. Aaron's the best. Love a lot of people over there. Some people, not so much. And by the way, I don't give a shit whether you like me or not. But I love the fans and I want to be the voice of the fans. And I think now we can all coalesce together and move this thing forward. And I hope to God that Stuart Sternberg doesn't start with this St. Pete versus Tampa. Just focus in, apologize to the fans, move forward and reach out to the fans and be fan centric. Do what the Bucks and the Lightning have done. It's a very easy template. Just follow it. We will all support you if you do it the right way, Stu. So let's all get on the same track. Let's unify behind this full season, this beautiful, iconic stadium we're going to build and the entertainment district around it. Just keep the momentum going here in Tampa Bay. It's a great day for Tampa Bay. The Bucks are going to win this week. We're going to get our stadium done. The Lightning are going to win another Stanley Cup. It's the greatest place in the world to live, and this is just another great. It's a great thing that's happened because we're going to get this stadium done. Have a great weekend, everybody. Go Bucks!